Now, one of my friends, Andy, is building like a replica bike. I wouldn't really call it a replica, it's probably more fair to say it's a tribute. And he's building, I think it would be like 1930s, 1940s. I think they called it board racing style, where they actually used to race these motorcycles around tracks that had wooden boards on them. I guess it's a bit like the modern day, do they call them velodromes? So this is just a normal push bike wheel, and what he's asked me to do is, can we somehow graft this big cog, which I think he's bought from some kind of agricultural farm shop. He's bought a cog and he's bought a chain and all that kind of thing, and he's actually roughly spaced it off on a piece of plywood. So what he's asked is, can I actually, make this piece of plywood out of steel, to actually get the correct spacing that we require, and somehow try to fix it onto this hub here. Let me see if I can bring that in. Is that focused in? I don't know. So you can see there's a little bit of a relief there. No, it's not a relief, is it? There's a little shoulder there. So in theory, what I'm wondering, I don't know if I will be able to do this. I'm wondering if I can make this like this hexagon-shaped wooden disc. If I can make that out of steel, and if I can bore out the hole in the centre, could I get it close enough to that so that we can heat the piece of metal up, drop it on and shrink fit it on it? I don't know if we can do it or not. I don't think I'll be able to weld the thing on, because I think it will it'll kind of distort to bugger if we try and weld it. But I don't know. I mean, what we might do is actually buy just find a couple of old bikes, and we'll take the rear hub off something and weld it on properly, and then put the thing in the lathe and skim it up again. So I'm not exactly sure. It feels like it's hard carbon steel, that, because I think a ball race normally runs on that. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not really a bike person. So yeah, that's what we're going to have a go at today. It just seemed like a fun little machining exercise. As usual, I've got absolutely no idea what I'm doing, but when have I ever let that stop me? I've never let it stop me ever. But it's one of them things, if you don't have a go, you don't know, do you? You've got to practice. If you get it wrong, you get it wrong. What have you lost? A bit of time. Right, so first thing to do is, first thing we need to do is try and find a piece of steel to actually make this, to replace this wooden disc with. Now he's kind of specified to me that he wants the thickness to be about, I think he said between 10 and 12 mil, but preferably towards a 12. So yeah, that's something we're going to have a look at as well. So let's see what we can find in the scrap pile. Well, I've just been rummaging around in my scrap bin, and found these two big lumps of metal. Kind of wondering if I should go, before I go too much further, I probably need to make sure I can actually chuck this in my lathe, because if I can't chuck it, yeah, that could be problematic. Although I suppose I could put it on a face plate or something. Anyway, the idea is we need to put a plate on here. So these are the two pieces I found. This one, I think we'll use this one. I've got this one here, but that one's just a little bit. I think that one will just be on the small size. Although there might be something to be said for re-drilling it a bit closer in. It would certainly save weight. Yeah, that might be a thought as well. Because I'm not sure what I can actually grip in my chuck of my lathe, because it's not a particularly big lathe. So yeah, let's maybe I need to go and have a look at the lathe chuck first and go and find the jaws for it. Yeah, let's do that. You see, these particular jaws that are in here at the moment are really designed to grip stuff. I don't know if you call it externally, but you see that you're meant to put something in there, whereas I won't be able to get that huge billet of steel in there because this chuck isn't big enough. But these jaws, they actually go the other way, and I think these belong to this chuck. I've not actually used them before, but I think they do. So basically all I can really do is I need to try these in here and see if it'll grab one of them blocks of metal, because that'll probably help me decide which one I'm going to use. Don't know if that I explained that particularly well. Probably not. Obviously I didn't buy this lathe new, and it came with this chuck on it and various bits and pieces. But yeah, I've never seen the original instructions for it. So you can see these just pull out. So I've got them out, put the new ones in. Now there's a little bit of a knack to getting these in, and I don't usually get it right first time, because it's what they call a scroll in there, and you actually have to get all these to engage together, or you can be kind of half a turn out on the scroll. So that's 2, that's a 1, so that's that one, and then what must go in there, is that 3? Come on. And what you've got to try to get these to do is you really need 4 hands. You need 4 hands, because what you actually need to do is now hold all these in so they don't drop out, and turn the chuck key and it'll draw them into the chuck. But yeah, you need 4 hands. What a lot of people do is they wrap a couple of big elastic bands around there so that it applies some pressure, but I haven't got any big elastic bands, so I'll try and frig it. Let's see if that works. Might do. I think I might have got that wrong, so let's just try and wind that in. You can tell when you've got it wrong because you line one of the jaws up maybe on the edge of the chuck there, and just eyeball the others. So, oh, actually no, that's alright, that's on the edge, that's on the edge of there, that's on the edge, so maybe we're right. They are very stiff, these. You can tell that these jaws don't get used much because they're really stiff compared with the other chuck. Right, okay. God, they are very stiff then. Oh, there's a number in there, 1. Just noticed the numbers are actually in there. 1, I got that the right way around. 3, obviously 2. Yeah, we're alright. Never seen that before. There's some numbers just inside there. So, learned something today. Right, let's find some of them lumps of metal. Let's see what we can actually chuck in there here, because I do not know. Yeah, I don't think we're not going to get that in. Yeah, that's the biggest thing I think we're going to get in here. Yeah, we'll have to go with this one. So basically, we've established that this is the bigger piece of metal that I was planning on using, but I won't be able to get that in the chuck of the lathe. The lathe just won't open big enough. So yeah, we're buggered on that. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to use this one, and we won't use these mounting holes. We'll just re-drill some new holes. This is a really thick cog. I mean, it's tremendously strong, and I don't think we're not gonna miss anything by just re-drilling 4 new holes, and that allows us to use that smaller piece of metal. And if possible, I might even see if I can find anything smaller again if we are having to re-drill it. I don't think I've got anything in between, but I might have a quick look. So if not, maybe it's time to get that on the saw. I do like painting this this blue stuff on this dye pen. Is it called dye pen? Something like that. Dychem. Something seems to be very putic about it, and it has quite a strong kind of cellulose smell. So you tend to get a little bit high, which is quite nice. Yeah, it's a lovely hot day today, so I think we'll just put this outside for a minute to dry. This is probably a bit crude, but my saw isn't exactly precision anyway. Let's just split the line with some dots just in case we lose that mark. Okay, I think that'll do. Right, I think it's time to go and have a cup of tea because this is going to take a while. Okay, well this old girl might not be much of a looker, but she will keep going all day. Good. Well, I'm afraid, I don't know if you can see that, but it looks like my old saw has let me down a bit. It's definitely cut all on one side. It's yeah, what a mess. It could be that I didn't quite have it in the saw level, although I think I did have it level, I'm not sure. But the blade in it is absolutely worn out, and that's one of the reasons it took so long to cut. And when the blade is worn out, it does tend to wander a little bit. So I think that's probably what happened. But it does mean that I'm afraid there's going to be a lot more metal to machine away than I originally planned. Bugger. Well, it's actually bang on 19.5, which is about what I put it in the saw at. But on the other side, it's 21, so it's 2mm out. So I made a bit of a cock of that, didn't I? Oh well. Yeah, so we're going to have to do a fair amount of facing to bring that up to level, haven't we? Well, such is life, eh? No point in getting annoyed about it. Worst things happen at sea. Well, I've got some indexable cutters that have got those insertable tips, and I've kind of been dying to use them on something. So apparently you can remove quite a lot of heavy metal with them. So that'll be fun to yeah, to see how much we can plough off. Although my little lathe probably isn't really man enough to get the best use out of them. But let's set this up in the lathe. We'll just take the burrs off it and set it up in the lathe, and let's see what we can do. Chips are just coming off here, kind of brown, almost going into a purpley blue, but mainly brown. So I think that's as fast, so that's as much material as I want to take off. Unfortunately, my lathe is stalling a little bit, so yeah, I can only take fairly light cuts, I'm afraid. Anyway, slowly wins the race. Is it slowly? I don't know. Slow and steady wins the race. I don't know. Something like that. Right, I'll bring you guys back when I've done this. It's going to take a while. So we've cleaned a lot of it up, but you can see we're not touching there, so a few more passes and we'll have that cleaned up. I think I must have a belt slipping somewhere. Yeah, motor's still running. We've got a belt slipping, haven't we? Oh well. Have to look at that another time. Cleaned up nicely, that. Right, let's see how we did. There we go. You bugger. Right, that's all the drilling I can do. That's the biggest I can drill. Well, okay, we've bored our hole out and I'm hoping I'm on the final pass. I've really struggled to work out whether or not to put this a press fit or an interference fit. Well, I guess it's the same thing. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the hole size for the shaft. I did have a look online at the various calculators, and the more I looked at it, the more I got confused. I think the difficulty will be, even if I heat it up, I won't actually be able to press it on, because I won't really be able to set up the bike wheel in any type of a press. It'll just bend everything, it's too feeble. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to make it a very tight fit, probably still some kind of a shrink fit, or at least a very tight fit, and then we're going to put a couple of grub screws through that are going to bite down into the hub, and hopefully that will do it. So I think I'm gunning for about size for size. I'm looking for about 1506 for my final internal diameter, or maybe just slightly above that with a bit of polishing. So that's what I'm going for. Don't know if it'll work. We'll suck it and see. Don't really feel very tight then. That's better. Well, I'm hoping you can see the numbers there. We were gunning for 1506, and on the micrometer we've got 1506. So we're spot on. We're on within 1 thou of tolerance. So I think that's pretty good. I mean, if anything, I think we might end up opening it up a little bit, but I don't know. I'm making it up as I go along here. So yeah, let's just clean that up and do some more machining operations on it. Well, after all that, made a bit of a cock of it. Must have measured it wrong somehow, and rather than a press fit, it's a piss fit. But I haven't got any more material to hand, or rather I have, but I haven't got a saw blade that'll cut it. So we're going to carry on, use it as practice. I have found that I can tighten it up just by putting a couple of shims in. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the plan rather than press fitting it. And a few people have said that you won't be able to heat and press fit it anyway, because this hub is probably too weak to actually stand being pressed. So the new idea is we're going to drill some holes around the periphery of it, probably 3 or maybe 6, and we're going to put grub screws all the way through into here. So that's a new plan. We're also going to remove some of this metal, and I'm going to re-drill this plate to have a set of holes lower down, because this is just adding weight and it's not really doing anything. So we're going to put this in the lathe, and we're going to cut it off flush with that, and carry on. Yeah, attack by bloody wasp. Go away. Don't want to touch that. What's this one?